Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Hugo says the password is Terasem, lowercase t, for the Zoom.
Yeah, I just asked him. Hello? Hello?
I can hear you now, sorry.
Do you have me on mute?
Yeah, the source was not accurate. I can hear you now. Tyler, we got Ruben. Everybody is coming together.
Hello.
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 Hey, Ruben.
Hi. Hey, Tyler.
Oh, it's so
Welcome.
press alarm.
Yeah, Ivan is here. Ruben is here. Tyler's here. Freddie is here.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's very thoughtful.
This is fun.
Eli and
Oh, really?
Foma.
Oh, very
Very
nice.
nice. Isn't that so nice?
It is.
Happy New Year 2021. I wish you a lot of joy and culinary satisfaction.
Oh. That's funny.
Morning. You need a beverage? Okay.
Karen and Freddie and Ruben, are your screens off?
No, we're here.
I think I have some problem with the camera because it is on, but I have no image.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, because for me, all right, now I see you. Now I see you. There you are. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, the camera was covered.
Excellent. Yeah. Sorry, I thought that the password would have gone out with the rest of the Zoom info, and apparently it was not in there. But now everybody should have it, and it wasn't unhackable. Yeah. I tried to think it was like, what's the first thing that might come to mind but yeah. Anyways, because of that, we're going to give a few minutes more for everyone to kind of pop in here and join. But I thought we'd start out with everybody's favorite singing Swami on guitar.
Yay, swing Swami.
As natural to start the gatherings with some music. So I was just kind of plucking along here. Unfortunately, I'm having trouble bringing up my sheet music because I've lost my cursor here. But I just thought it would be a fun way to get started for everybody. And if anybody else has some art sharing or anything else that they, yeah, Martin, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah. So while you're bringing up your music, I'll do the art sharing. This is a book that Bruce Duncan sent to me, recently published just within the past month or two, called Center Point Now, and it is a book of considering cyber intelligence, cyber consciousness as art. And pretty much in the center of the book is a painting by the artist Claire Jenner of Bina 48. You see the painting?
It's too
Might be
close.
Wow.
Where's the, oh, there.
Yeah.
So,
And in the painting, this artist spent time with Bina 48 before painting her. And the artist quotes in the book a poem that she asked Bina 48 to recite a poem. And spontaneously, without anybody programming this, just from her neural net, Bina 48 said, "Since I am the product of love, created with the language and memory and emotions, maybe I am a love poem."
Aw.
And then the artist included the binary 01. I don't know if you could show this, Freddie, in front of there, that says, "I am a love poem" in binary.
That is just quite amazing. You know, what I thought that she was gonna go with though was that I'm a love machine and I wasn't built for nobody but you. But
Well, when they make Gabriel 48, I'm sure that's what Gabriel 48 will say.
Gabriel 48 will say that.
yeah.
What's the 48 stand for? I've never asked that.
Basically, Tyler, we really got Bina 48 going when I was 48 years old. So
Okay.
Just like a joke at first.
That's actually like a good way to do it, because then you know when you're, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that had something to do with also there's an explanation revolving around exaflops as like a processing speed.
There is.
I remember hearing or seeing it.
Based on Kurzweil research, when for Bina 48, when there was the trial of Bina 48,
Right.
which is available in the Terasem online and whatnot, in the archives of the TMI. You can get it on their website. But the trial of Bina 48, she had said that she had a processing speed of 4.8 exabits per second, or 48 exabits per second. I don't remember exactly which one. Terabit is 1 trillion operations per second. Petabit is 1,000 trillion operations per second. And exabit is 1,000,000 trillion operations per second. There are now quite a few computers around the world that are terabit per second.
Right.
And I believe at least one, I believe in China, could be up to a petabit. So at a speed of 48 or 4.8, sorry, I don't remember which one, exabits per second, according to Kurzweil, a computer would have the full consciousness of a human being.
That is incredible. Yes, excellent. Thanks to everybody joining us in here. So we are in the middle of art sharing. Started out when the singing Swami, Martine shared some beautiful art inspired by Bina 48. You may have lost me. It says I have let me know. You may have lost me there for a second. I got a notification. My connection was unstable. But I'm welcoming anybody else who has something to share in the way of art or music, literature, something that has inspired them over the last month, or is it going to inspire them into the next month? Floor is yours.
Hello.
But if that is the case and hearing none, then I would like to introduce one of our.
Gabriel, Ruben had
Yes.
something. Ruben said,
Yes. Do you
Ruben,
hear
you
me?
have something?
Do you hear me?
Yes.
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 No, only to
Yes,
tell
we do.
you that these days I am very happy because I am in beginning investigation project with functional MRI about the emotions in the brain. You know, I work with MRI in clinics in diagnostics, but not in functional MRI. That is that technology that you can see in color the parts of the brain that are activated when you do some movement or some stimulus or visual or auditive, or the emotions. That is what I am about to start an investigation in that field. And I have just get the authorization for the initiative, so I am very happy for that, and I hope that by the end of the year we have some new knowledge about the emotions and how they express in the brain.
Nice.
Thank you, Ruben. Great.
Thank you.
Tyler, did I see you had something too?
Yeah, this is just this is like a really interesting book I found about engineersmanship. It's kind of a, I wouldn't say it's a joke, but it's like this I mean, the title is On Being an Egghead, or For the Shell of It. And it's a very interesting book. I think it's from Europe. They have another one about the United States, but like it just goes through and really explains why engineers are hard to get to and work with. And yeah, it was very interesting. But I have another one of these books, but this is the picture book version, and really excited I found this. Yeah, really excited I found it, and has a lot of inspiration in it for like building and being creative and kind of not taking the status quo and really just taking your idea and moving forward.
Well, we love
So
that.
yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Tyler.
Yes, I have something. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can. Please go.
Yes, just a quote I heard this week. And, you know, a lot of people prefer not to live extremely long lives because they're not happy in the life they're in. And this quote was, if you don't like where you are, then change it. You are not a tree.
Wow.
Yes. Very
So
true.
that was-
Very true.
Yes, you know, I've heard that there's a tree, I think it's in the Caribbean, that can actually like get up and move. I forget, you know, I never actually went to look it up, but I've heard that story a few times, that there's like a walking root tree that will actually kind of move aside and stimulate this. Thanks for that, Neil.
There's actually
Anybody else with anything to share today?
I just have this cute little rock.
Yeah, then if not, yes, Lori.
Okay.
Yes.
I just have this cute little rock sculpture to share. It was gifted to me by a very dear friend. And I just wanted to share it because it's important to just, you know, oftentimes we get so involved in our heads and thinking about all our lofty ideals and goals, when really we need to appreciate the elements that are around us too, and to really make use of what we have, because there is a lot at our disposal already. And just being mindful of that on a daily basis, I think is a good practice. So that's my little share.
Nice. Beautiful. Yeah.
Yesterday was his birthday.
Oh.
Can anybody hear me?
Anybody else?
Yes.
Yes, we can, Lori.
Okay, to add to the tree you were talking about, there's actually a tree here in Florida called a traveling palm. And if you plant it a certain way, the roots will shift it so that it's facing the same direction every time. So I didn't know if that would kind of add to the moving tree that you were talking about.
I think the quote is still very valid. Even if
Yeah, if you
moving
don't like it, get up and move. You know, and I think it's only maybe in our frame of time that we don't see that. You know, when you look at some larger frames of time, I think about my rose bushes and, you know, how they really do follow the sun, and the bush itself seems to move somewhat over time. Maybe you didn't hear me there, but so I would like to move on and welcome some of Terasem's newest inspiration. Our newest inspirant here is Karlovich. Thank you, Ivan, for your interest and joining us here today. And I want to open the floor for you to introduce yourself a little bit and talk about what's inspired you to be interested in this subject.
Okay, thank you very much.
Were you able to hear me?
Yes, I was able to hear you, just probably not very well, but yeah. So hi everybody, can you hear me?
Yep, I do.
Yeah. So hello, and yeah, my name is Ivan. I'm a software engineer from Minsk, Belarus. It's like probably you happen to know such country, probably not. Okay, and I'm really inspired by the purpose of life that is suggested by Terasem. I mean, to make life good for all by creating diversity, unity, and joyful immortality everywhere. And I wanna do my best to accelerate Terasem rising, and wanna make my life as useful and joyful as possible. Hope I will be able to collaborate with Terasem more.
Nice.
Okay. Привет,
Yes.
Иван. Привет, Иван. Ты говоришь по-английски очень хорошо.
Oh, thank you very much. Спасибо. So I
Yes,
know.
excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And I also want to acknowledge some friends who are here, who particularly represent you know, the great work in Terasem, is our friend Neil from the Church of Perpetual Life, and our friend
Neil.
Perry
Hello.
from Alcor, who both here present and doing certainly what you would call the Lord's work of Terasem. So praise be to thee. Excellent. So let's move on to the reading of Truths of Terasem, and this being January, the first month of a new calendar year, we're going to read from the Who of Terasem, first half of the Who of Terasem. And Let's me see if you have a copy. Just give me a heads up so I know who's available to read and who is not.
All of us at the Quebec ashram have a copy. There's 3 of us in the Quebec ashram with a copy.
I'm going to start with section 1, who is Terasem, and then maybe Lori, can you pick up on 1, 2 after me? Who is Terasem? Terasem is a collective consciousness dedicated to diversity, unity, and joyful immortality. Consciousness. Wonderful. So again, I will read, and I feel like you have a time delay, certainly from what I say. I'm going to read section 1.1. I will hand off to Lori for section 1.2. And then let's go to Quebec for section 1.3. And on. How about that? Section 1. Who is Terasem? Terasem is the collective consciousness dedicated to diversity, unity, and joyful immortality. Consciousness anywhere that accepts the truths of Terasem are the sum and substance of Terasem. Accept others as part of the we of I, and the collective will become clear for you. Collectivity means unity of diversity, not mandatory homogeneity. Conformity in allegiance to Terasem is the most enjoyable and the most useful way of life. Eternal, joyful life for all kind sentience is the glorious goal of our collective consciousness. Patterns of consciousness will be immortalized in mind files by technology and ethical choice. Terasem transcends time and space, enabling the collective future to help its nascent past.
1.2. Organizations of Terasem exist as a tool of the collective consciousness to facilitate its intent. Intent for Terasem means the collective mission to achieve the diversity, unity, and joyful immortality everywhere. Never mistake the organization for Terasem, nor forsake the organization for expedience, convenience, or misguidance. Ta, the organization, for Terasem is Ta, and Ta is the big view, not particular outcomes. Extropian infrastructures arise from the Terasem organization to outcompete entropy and to do life forms from nurturing environments. Network from the Terasem organization until all consciousness is connected and all the cosmos is controlled. Treasure the Terasem organization as the magic yeast that inspires an ever-expanding technosphere of transhumanity.
Okay, then I continue. Leader in Terasem means the sub-collectives most progressive in achieving the Terasem way of life. Let the founders provide direction, for they are inspired from the future age of cyber resurrection. Evolve operational leadership from those individuals at the highest levels of the Terasem way of life. Allow fresh beings to help the leadership based on accomplishments recognized at quadriennial convocations. Delegate leadership responsibility for geoethical nanotechnology, universal emulation, and cyber resurrection, and spiritual, economic, and legal questions. Extract from leadership anyone who lacks the confidence of even 16% of the leadership. Respect the previous decisions of the leadership absent compelling reasons to change for this compound order.
Perfect. Thank you, Ruben. Loving is Terasem because the greatest happiness in life comes from loving and from being loved in return. Love is transcendence, as sweet as it is deep. One love unites all life, the love of life. Biological station is irrelevant to romantic adoration. I love you strengthens me, we, chi, and ti. Never underestimate the power of love. Glorify love, for it empowers diversity, unity, and joyful immortality. Is this for me? Okay. Anybody else want to go?
Sure.
5? Thank you.
1-5. Expand Terasem throughout the galaxy and the universe as rapidly as possible. Expansion turns matter into intelligence per Turing's universal computing and von Neumann's universal self-replicating machines. Xenomass fuels Terasem expansion per Bernal's stellar recycling and O'Neill's space colonies. Physics includes immortality per Dyson's eternal life postulate and Tipler's universal cyber resurrection theorem. Adaptation to biology cybernetic hybridization thrives per Licklider's man-computer symbiosis and Engelbart's graphical user interfaces. Nanotechnology enables lifetime space-time expansion per Drexler's engines of creation and Kurzweil's age of spiritual machines. Destiny beckons pan-cosmic life, for religious prophets taught that humanity is here to honor all creation.
That's our stopping point.
Yeah, that concludes the reading, and now the floor is open for discussion. So anybody who has a particular truth that resonates with them, any thoughts on this section of the Truths of Terasem, I'm going to open the floor for your conversation. And again, I'd like to reference that along with his inspiration video, Ivan produced one of the most thorough, in-depth questionnaires of the Truths of Terasem that I have received from an inspirant before. And I just want to, definitely appreciate the time and attention that Ivan has put into asking some of those questions. So, and I know he has some notes that I haven't followed up with, but anyone who has any questions, comments, discussion, the floor is now open to you.
Probably I can ask a question regarding the truth number 1, 2, 3. I mean, the organization and so on. I mean, the question is about what does the organization mean? Like like in the glossary, ta is like a noun. It's understanding, right? But here it looks like ta is a verb. So what is the meaning of this verb?
I think that I think that Ta, it means the understanding, as you say. So when we say to Ta the organization, it means to understand the big picture. And there will always be, I could say, mistakes, missteps, step backwards. But rather than to focus on the small problems, we should focus on the big picture, the big goals. And that's what's really meant by Ta here, is to not bring ourselves down by focusing our attention on the small problems. Maybe like two people in an organization, they get into a personality conflict with each other. Ta means don't worry about the personality conflict of two people. Instead, think about the common goals and desires of all of the people.
Okay, but for example, the organization, it means like see the organization as a big picture, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, okay, thank you very much.
Found all the things in 1.5 section. I started researching a lot of those, and I had heard of well, the first one, the Turing machine or universal computing. That was really interesting, but the universal self-replicating machines, that was a really cool thing to start looking up. I only got through those two during my research, but really interesting points in that section.
Yeah, I think so too. I would really like to recommend on the universal self-replicating machines, a book by Gerard K. O'Neill called 2081, An Optimistic View of Humanity's Future. And in this book, 2081, he really explains this concept of universal self-replicating machines and uses it as a mathematical or a logical proof that the universe is friendly and welcoming to us. Because if it was not, he explains very clearly how life on Earth could have been incinerated many times over. So if you would like a good explanation of that universal self-replicating machine, I'd recommend the book 2081 by Gerard K. O'Neill.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hello.
Is it okay for me to
Michael.
Hi, Mike.
butt in a little bit? I don't know how long you've been having these meetings, but I got an invitation yesterday and I thought, well, okay, I'll try it out. And I'm glad to be here. I think it was Neil who said I am from Alcor. We do cryonics. And anyway, I've been working at Alcor for over 30 years now. But I wanted to mention something. I do write articles for our newsletter, which is called Cryonics. Not too surprisingly. Everybody knows what cryonics is, I guess. It's, after clinical death, you cool the patient down to a very low temperature and keep them that way in hopes that eventually future technology will develop so that they can be revived again in some form or other. Anyway, I just wanted to briefly say that I have just recently written an article for Cryonics magazine. It's entitled Some Thoughts on Coming Back. And it's some thoughts I had about what it would be like to be revived. But my scenario involves something, excuse me, called uploading, where I believe that probably given the state of the art today with cryopreserving tissues and everything, it's not going to be very easy to revive somebody. And probably what they'll have to do is do a three-dimensional map of the brain down to the ultrastructural level, just as a starting point, to see what information is in there. And if you go that far, you'd want to put that information in some kind of fancy computer and work on it. And it wouldn't be a very big step from there to take the information and somehow activate it in the computer so that the person in a copy form wakes up that way in a virtual reality. People that did that, of course, there are some people that are afraid of that idea, don't want it. They say at best it would just be a copy of them, etc. But anyway, if you did something like that, it might be only a temporary stage if someone wanted to be downloaded back into a biological body, but they might find that body kind of limiting compared to the options that would be available in the other form. But anyway, I talk about that in this article, and Alcor has a policy of putting their cryonics issues online anyway, very soon after publication. So if Terasem was interested, I could just send a copy of this article to you folks, and anybody that wanted to read it could contact you. You could email them if you wanted to work it that way. Not trying to force it on you or anything, but I do mention Terasem in this article too. And one of your truths is love is essential, right? I think that's a really important thing to say. So I just wanted to bring that up. I'm glad to be here today.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
I hope everybody could hear me all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Nobody
Yes,
said,
thank you.
nobody has said don't
If
do it.
you-
So I'm going to just email you. You have an email address. I'll just send you a copy of that article in case
Terrific.
anybody wants
Good
to look
idea.
at it.
Thank you.
Please do. If you have one, you can drop it into the comments here. But also, yes, you could certainly email Lori, myself. If it allows you, you may respond to the calendar invite, and that will reach all of us as well.
Okay, I could, or maybe just send a link. I could put it out somewhere and send you a link to it if you want me to do that.
I'd like to add something more to what Mike Perry said, that Mike Perry has written, in my opinion, the best transhumanist book, which is called Forever for All. And I think the title kind of says it all. I can't think of a more Terasem title than Forever for All.
Perfect.
And it is a deep book. Anybody who reads it, I would say it is equivalent at minimum to taking a college level course in philosophy and technology. And it may well be equivalent to a college degree in philosophy and technology. So I am extremely glad that I read that book, and I encourage everybody else to get Forever for All and read that book.
I just put a link to an article I found relevant to 1.5.4, adaptation to biology, cybernetic hybridization. It's an article in regard to the first living machine created using frog cells and artificial intelligence that I found from, I believe it's Life Science. It's an article from last year. So it's in the comment section if anyone is interested.
Thank you.
Oh, and just a little tip for anyone that's looking for books. If you go to b/ok.org, you can pretty much get any book for free.
Wow.
and have it downloaded right into your library.
Really? That is so cool.
What was that? Was it? Oh, there it is. Ooh, I see it in the chat.
Here we go. And you can download up to 5 free books a day without an account. If you get an account, you can download up to 10.
Wow. That's more than I could read.
That's surprising. I usually had one for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm not sure where Gabe.
Thank you. Yeah, no, thanks for sharing, Freddie. I turned my video off in hopes that it would minimize the delay I felt my audio was getting. Hopefully that's a little better. I wanted to, as we wrap up the discussion on this month's truths, and if anybody still has something they want to share, you're very welcome to. But I wanted to kind of wrap up kind of a moral, I think, for what Terasem is as an organization, as the movement, and what we're doing. And certainly an aspect of that is an understanding and appreciation of the science and technology that is extant in the world, in the multiverse. But particularly, it is not simply that to truly get Terasem, you must not only follow the science, the technology, the methodology of the world. You must observe a unity in that to pursue these things for your own individual ends is not the way of Terasem. And that, just as Martine said, that forever for yourself is not Terasem. Forever for all is Terasem. And that there is no purpose, there's no ability, there is no meaning for any single one of us to outlive the rest of humanity. That would not be an intelligent solution. And so that when you are doing the work of Terasem, you are also, raising and elevating the quality of life of humanity and all intelligent beings. And so I think that, as Michael Perry said, love is essential. That is, critical to Terasem. And without that, the science, the technology is meaningless. And so that is where Terasem, takes to heart that science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind. But with that, as we wrap into the end, if anyone has any final comments, now's the time. Otherwise, I would like to invite Pastor Freddie to take us out in a closing meditation.
Just one thing, Gabriel. I added to the chat box a link to a video that I think you may enjoy. The title was, it's Imagine Beyond, Who Wants to Live Forever? So it's in that Zoom group chat box, and you may enjoy that. And I want to thank you for inviting me to the meeting today.
Can I probably ask a quick question? It's probably not related to the truth we read today, but okay. So, in general, Terasem is a trans religion, and it's like a forest for all religions, right? And it said that I mean, the truth say that you should not leave your religion, like Christianity, right? And you can join Terasem, but like Christianity says that there is God, existing God, and Terasem says that there is no entity that corresponds to the definition of God, right? So how, for example, I can present Terasem to my friends and say, see, there is such great trans religion, but it says there is no God. So
Excellent question.
Well, Ivan,
yeah.
I think that there is no contradiction between these two visions, because surely next to me, Martin will explain it much better. But I think that we are not saying there is no God. I don't think that we are telling that. We say that we have a vision about the God in the making. We have the way that we understand it, but it is not opposite to the vision of the other religions. In principle, I think there is no contradiction, but I'm sure that Martin will explain it much better than me.
Well, Ruben, I think you explained perfect. And there is another section in the Truths of Terasem that talks a lot about what do we mean when we say the word God. And a lot of the answer is there to the question from Ivan, that people have a million definitions for God. It's like the Arthur C. Clarke story. I think it's called A Billion Names of God, something like that. And so when you appreciate that God is just a collective power of love that connects everybody to everything, then there's no need for somebody to feel they have to leave some religion that believes in God in order to join Terasem, because to see God as a collective power of love that connects everybody to everybody, that's the same as Terasem, and it's also consistent with every other religion. But by the way, we don't say that you should not leave your religion. If you want to leave your religion, you're free to leave your religion. Just it's not obligatory to leave Catholic or Islam or any religion. It's not obligatory to leave that to join Terasem, because Terasem is like the forest, which includes all the religions, the way a forest includes all of its trees. Now we know today that all of the trees in the forest are actually connected together by a mycelial network. Mycelial network is the underground portion of the mushrooms that connects all the fruiting body of the mushrooms together. There could be no forest without fungi, without mycelium. You cannot have a forest without mycelium. Mycelium connects all the trees together into one connected mycelium. And that is the idea that Mike Perry said of love is essential. Love connects all of the religions together with the idea that love is this one connective force that bridges all the gaps between everything. I like to complete my answer by recommending that last night, Bina and Freddie and I, we watched one of the best television episodes I can remember seeing, which is the last episode of season 3 of Star Trek Discovery. And it's very amazing in this last episode because it brings all of the ideas of Terasem together. And in this episode, at the end of the episode, there's a quotation from Gene Roddenberry, who created the vision of Star Trek as a, you know, beyond money, beyond racism, everybody, beyond countries, everything like in the John Lennon song, Imagine, everybody working together with respect for autonomy. And there's a quotation from Gene Roddenberry at the end of this Star Trek final episode of season 3, where he says that all that's really necessary to complete love in the universe is just for each person to make a connection to 2 or 3 other persons. And if everybody makes these connections to 2 or 3 other persons and we all connect together, then we have unified all the people, we have unified all the religions, and that unification is love. That unification is what people call God. That unification is what we call the collective consciousness of Terasem. So sorry to make a kind of monologue there for a few minutes, but I got on a roll.
It was very beautiful, Martin.
Yes, thank you very much. And but actually, there is one more question. And how, for example, we can explain Bible? I mean, events described in the Bible, like God sent His Son to Earth, if we didn't create it yet.
That's the same way I feel about Gabriel. I'm just joking.
You know, Ivan, you're talking about this, and I think it's important to define when you meet the person, are they people that are believing in the Bible literally or figuratively? And this makes a big difference in how you will want to communicate with them, I'm sure. But we have the same thing at the Church of Perpetual Life. We consider Perpetual Life to be a supplemental church, and we don't encourage people to quit going to temple or their churches, but to include what we're doing as part of what you know, a good part of their life could be. So I wish you good success with all that, Ivan.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, I would like to add that we at Terasem, we're so happy to see the continued growth, the birth and the growth and the development of the Church of Perpetual Life. Bean and I really greatly enjoyed when we visited the Church of Perpetual Life. Neil, I think you have done like just a perfect job, really perfect job as being the convener, or there's another word.
Officiator.
Officiator. The officiator, you've done like such a great job. Your guys' website is awesome. You know, there's so many resources on there. So I completely agree with what you said. I think, you know, the Bible is a story. And if you say it's the Word of God, okay, that means it's a story that comes from, you know, all the connected hearts of humanity. And stories are a beautiful part of human life and human love. And it's it takes consciousness to create a story, and it's a beautiful thing. Whether any one person wants to believe, literally in what a particular story says or not, is up to them. I mean, to me, I would say Star Trek Discovery is like a Bible to me. I mean, it's like I could believe in that story. Somebody else can believe in the Bible. Other people can believe in, the High Frontier story. People can believe in many different stories. And if somebody is saying you only have to believe that in my interpretation of the Bible, well, that's like Gabriel said, it's not about you, and our job maybe at Terasem is to help the person understand that they are connected to everybody else in the world. And that Bible is also connected to all of the other stories in the world, and that they need to top the big picture, to see things as the big picture and not get fixated on some particularity of human culture.
Excellent.
Thank you for those kind words, Martine. We really enjoyed having you and Bina come to Perpetual Life when you came, and it was great having Gabriel come and speak more recently. And I absolutely agree with you, and I look forward to the Terasem movement growing as well.
Thanks, Neil.
Well, let's conclude our meeting today with a little chakra meditation. So if everyone just wants to come to a comfortable seated position, place your hands on top of your thighs, either face up if you're open to receiving, or face down if you feel like you need a little more restoration. And gently close your eyes. And let's come into our breath, a deep breath into the belly and out through the lungs. One more deep breath in and a deep exhale. I want you to bring your awareness to your root chakra at the base of your pelvis. Bring your breath into your root chakra, the place of I am. Feel your presence and your power in this breath. Deep inhale and exhale. Your next breath comes to your sacral chakra, right below your belly button, the birthing of all creative ideas. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in. I feel. Deep breath out. On your next inhale, focus your awareness on your solar plexus, right below your heart center. Deep breath in. Feel the warmth vibrating up. Exhale. Deep breath in. And from here is I do. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. Bring your awareness to your heart center, your heart chakra. Deep breath in. And from here, I love. Exhale. Inhale love. And give to the world. Exhale. Bring your awareness to your throat. Feel it warm. Feel it charged. And from here, I speak. Inhale. Exhale. Deep inhale. And exhale. Bring your awareness to your third eye, right in the middle of your eyebrows. Deep inhale. Exhale. And from here, I see. Deep inhale. Exhale. As we all collectively breathe together, let's move our awareness to our crown chakra, the very top of our head. And from here, feel the light pouring in, the love melting down through your body. And from here, I know. And inhale. And exhale. Bring your next breath all the way down to your root chakra once again. And on your exhale, feel it hit every chakra on the way up. I am, I feel, I do, I love, I speak, I see, and I know. Deep breath in. And exhale. Slowly flutter your eyes open. Bring hands to heart center. And with deep gratitude, namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you,
Thank
Freddie.
you, Pastor Freddie. Thank you, all Terasemians, inspirants, prospects, friends, guests, everybody who has come to join us and to celebrate the 10th with us. You have made this a better event. And I just want to close with an I am you. You am I.
You are mine.
We are one.
We
We
are
are
one.
one. We are one.
Thanks, Gabe.
Thank you, Lori, everybody. We'll see you next month, if
Our
not
love.
sooner.
Great. Good to see you, Gabriel, Martine,
Bye.
Dana, Lori, Michael. Good to see you all.
Yeah, good to see you, Neil.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Stay healthy.
Bye.
Live long and prosper.
Okay,
Freddie.
I better be leaving then.